welcome to the Win Big Charity podcast about Soccerfest. Today we're joined by Rachael Becker from the American Cancer Society. Thanks for joining us, Rachael. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Today we're going to talk a bit about the American Cancer Society. I'm sure most people know what it is, but they might not have all the information or some information about it. So today we're just going to talk a bit about the American Cancer Society. Can you tell us what the primary mission of the American Cancer Society is?
Sure. So the mission of the American Cancer Society is to improve the lives of people with cancer and their families through several ways, which are advocacy, research, and patient support, and to ensure that everyone has an opportunity to prevent, detect, treat, and survive cancer.
Cool. And can you share a little bit of a couple of highlights of the organization's impact, like how long you guys have been around, things like that?
Yeah, so I'll start with the Cancer Facts and Figures, which is an annual report released by ACS. And it's released at the beginning of the year. And I'm new to ACS, so it came out just when I started in January. But it really highlights the importance of organizations like ACS and people like you guys who are supporting us. And so it's identified that more than 2 million new cases and 600,000 cancer deaths are estimated to happen in 2025. So that's nearly 1,700 deaths per cancer per day. And so ACS, we've touched more than 140 million lives in 2024, and we've raised more than, or invested really, more than $500 million in research grants. And so we work in over 22,000 communities across the nation each year. You caught me on how long ACS has been around, but I'm going to say it's been around for a really long time. And I'm really excited to be part of everything that ACS is doing. And as a new employee to ACS, I was really touched by learning about not just the investment that we put towards research through our fundraising, but also all we do for our patient support and advocacy as well.
Yeah, I mean, most people know someone who's gone through some type of cancer. One of my friends recently went through breast cancer, and she's fine. They detected it early, but it's a pretty emotional thing when you hear someone close to you has something. My dad's side of the family, they do have a little bit of a history of that. My mom's side of the family, not so much. So far, my little family of, my parents, my brother, my sister, and myself, we've been all good. But I've had uncles that have passed from cancer. So I see the importance of it, and I'm sure more people. I think more people should be aware about the importance of it. Now, can you maybe get into about like the advancement in cancer treatments and what you see happening recently?
Sure. So I think you're exactly right that we all have some sort of personal connection to cancer, whether that's ourselves, a family member, or a friend. And so we're here today because cancer continues to affect far too many lives. So in Florida alone, an estimated 171,960 new cancer cases will be diagnosed in 2025. And tragically, just under 50,000 of those are expected to lose their battle with this disease. But there's hope. So since 1991, we've made incredible progress. Cancer death rates have dropped by 33%, which means that 4.1 million more people are here today because of advancements in treatment, early detection, and research. Right now, the American Cancer Society is funding 20 groundbreaking research grants in Florida, and that's totaling over more than $10 million that we've invested in cancer research. And I'm going a little off script here, but I believe ACS, American Cancer Society, is the second largest funder outside of the federal government for cancer research. So it's really important, especially right now with everything that's going on with cancer funding, that we just keep our eye on the prize and continue fundraising for cancer research, advocacy, patient support. But anyways, so we fund grant projects to reduce health disparities with a focus on prevention, early detection, and access to care in communities of people who have been marginalized. We conduct research focused on early detection, survivorship, disseminating evidence-based reports such as cancer statistics, and any highly regarded source of cancer information. And so right now we're working to foster a more diverse scientific workforce community through our diversity in cancer research program, providing grants to HBCU medical schools and establishing cancer health equity research centers at minority serving institutions. And we're also expanding access to biomarker testing to ensure that there's equitable access to advances in our precision medicine.
Nice. That's good to know. Can you get into a little bit more about like early detection and prevention? What people can do to kind of know what they're up against, I guess, or not.
Of course. So I'm going off script here too, but I maybe can drop it in our chat and you can share it when this is
Sure.
presented. But we have a Cancer 360 tool. And so it takes maybe 10, 15 minutes, but it's awesome. And so you can go on there. It'll ask you a series of questions, personal health, habits, family history. There's some other stuff it'll ask too, but then it identifies based on what you've asked and your age group and where you currently live, because there's some geographical evidence that where you live is related to your cancer diagnosis. Um, It'll basically tell you what you need to get screened for, when you need to get screened for it, and the types of cancers that you are more likely to get based on the information that you've put in. It's a really awesome tool, and we're trying to, I don't know how long we've had it for, so bear with me on that, but we're trying to get it out into our communities. We work really closely with our health systems too. And so they obviously have a huge social work departments that are linked to them. And so just helping them also spread that tool around has been like one of our top missions. But early detection and cancer screening is one of our top priorities and initiatives. And so we want people to get screened and detected for cancer as early as possible. Because we know that when you are screened and detected earlier, the earlier catching cancer, the better prognosis you have to beat that type of cancer. So that's one tool that I even sat when I was just started and was learning about all the things that we offer. I went through and did it. And so it's super easy, user friendly, and it's something we want in the hands of everybody.
Well, I see that's something I didn't know that you guys had that tool. So it's good to bring it up and to get more people to know about it. I also didn't know about the geographical location. That's pretty interesting. But also I can see how it makes sense because they also say depending on where you live in the world, your diet's different and all that kind of stuff. So I can see how that.
Your proximity to harmful toxins. So say you're living in, I don't want to pinpoint any particular community, but you think about like Flint, Michigan. Okay, we know that the water's, supply has been tampered with. What are the future? How's that going to affect you in the future? We just, don't know until that happens. But also, if you're close to a chemical plant or a manufacturing facility, we don't know the long-term effects, and we're beginning to learn what those adverse effects are. But living close proximity to those locations, that's going to take a toll on your health.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors, and the factors keep changing too, right? So I'm sure
Mhm.
it's a challenge for research, for the medical teams and all that stuff to keep up with everything. And that's why it's what you guys do is so important, you know. Can you share us what motivates you to be a part of the fight against cancer?
Sure. So, I have a personal family connection to cancer. I've had several family members go through it. Um, but also more importantly, it's important to me to have mission driven work and feel like the work that I'm doing every day, that it's making a difference in the community that I live and work in. So those are probably the two most important and driving factors for me to make sure that I'm, partnering with the right organization, um, and loving what I do and making sure that I'm doing it for all the right reasons.
Nice. Now we're going to tie into our event a little bit and Soccer Fest, which is happening on October 18th at the Premier Sports Campus. And I just want to highlight, maybe talk a little bit about physical activity and how that kind of helps your overall health. And how important it is, even if it's not much, even if it's going for a walk once a day or things like that, how it impacts overall health, and then maybe even prevents some of the, cancer stuff from happening.
For sure. So I have a lot to say on this. Um, so cancer is the second leading cause of death in the United States behind only heart disease. And people with cancer often experience physical effects from the cancer itself and from treatment, distress, and a lower quality of life. Quality of life can also be affected for family members, caregivers, and friends of people with cancer. But for most Americans who do not use tobacco, the most important cancer risk factors that can be changed are body weight, diet, and physical activity. At least 18% of all cancers diagnosed in the United States are related to excess body weight, physical inactivity, excess alcohol consumption, and poor nutrition. And all of this can be prevented. So, along with avoiding tobacco products, staying at a healthy weight, staying active throughout life, and eating a healthy, balanced diet, all of those things may greatly reduce a person's lifetime risk of developing or dying from cancer. These same behaviors are also linked with a lower risk of developing heart disease and diabetes. So, we want people just like you to be physically active. Adults should be getting 150 to 300 minutes of moderate intensity, or 75 to 150 minutes of vigorous intensity activity each week, or a combo. Getting to or exceeding the upper limit of 300 minutes is ideal. We want people to limit sedentary behaviors such as sitting, lying down, watching TV, and other forms of screen based entertainment. And physical activity has been linked to a lower risk of several types of cancer, which include colon cancer, for which this link is the strongest, breast cancer, endometrial cancer, so that's cancer in the lining of the uterus, bladder cancer, esophagus cancer, and stomach cancer. And then we know that physical activity might also affect the risk of other cancers such as lung, head and neck cancers, liver, pancreas, prostate, and ovarian cancer. So, being active may also help prevent weight gain and obesity, which may in turn reduce the risk of developing cancers that have been linked to those two things: excessive body weight. Um, and then we know physically active lifestyle may also lower a person's risk of other health problems such as heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, and osteoporosis. So we want people to get moving.
Yeah, it's pretty important. I always tell people I go for at least a walk. I'm a soccer player. The three founders of Win Big Charity were all soccer players, and we met through soccer. I found it a challenge that since the pandemic, I haven't really. It kind of stopped everything. I haven't really exercised much since then, and it's hard to kind of get back into a rhythm. But I found a way to get back into a rhythm, and once you do, it gets a lot easier, right? It's just a matter of
Mhm.
starting.
100%. I work from home, and so I always make sure I have a little like thing on my calendar blocked off as a reminder, just like get up, take a walk, do some squats, whatever it is, but get up out of my chair.
Yeah. Another part of our Soccer Fest event is that we have a little bit of a party with live music afterwards. and live and music in itself. I also come from the music industry. I've always played in bands since I was a teenager and things like that. And for me, it's a big de-stressor. You know, I come home, put my headphones on, listen to some of my favorite music. Can you talk a little bit about how stress can also reduce risk of cancer?
I don't have specific talking points for how stress can reduce cancer, but I'll just say this, that um, we all know that when we're high stress, our bodies aren't able to heal the way that they're supposed to. And there's like, we impede the function of how our bodies are supposed to work. So I can say this, that ACS would want anybody to take any step that's going to reduce some sort of stress that's in a healthy way. And music is absolutely one of them. We have Hope Lodges around the United States. We have 32 Hope Lodges, which are, if you don't know, they are places where people who are going through cancer treatment currently and a caregiver can go and stay free of charge for the duration of their care. I could talk a whole nother podcast specifically about the Hope Lodge, but I'll say we are always incorporating healthy activities there because we know, like you just said, it's a way to de-stress and help our bodies recuperate and recover. We do games, so that's a fun way to de-stress, but music is a fantastic way, bringing in live music, having people come in and play music and dance and things like that. I agree. All really great ways to de-stress and help our bodies heal.
Thanks. Yeah. I mean, I really, that's one of my main de-stressors. If is when I get home, I throw my headphones on,
I
and
love
it's all
that.
I like all. Yeah, I like all kinds of music, like from country to electronic. So there's, I just pick
I'm
whatever
the
I'm in the
same.
mood for, and
Yeah, for sure.
yeah. Can you talk a bit about maybe something to say to people, like where they can find you guys and resources?
Of course. So number one is cancer.org. From there is our website, and it'll link you to resources for if you're a caregiver, if you are going through or have been recently diagnosed, if you have overcome cancer and are now in that weird survivorship stage where you're just kind of trying to regain your life back. We have resources on that website for if you want to fundraise on behalf of ACS. I mean, it is, I learned recently, I hope I don't butcher this, but I heard that I think there are over 150,000 other websites who link back to cancer.org as a resource. And those are health institutions, they're cancer support groups, things like that. But there's a wealth of information on cancer.org. In addition to that, we have NCIC is a 24/7 hotline that you can call to talk to a real person who's then going to direct you to the resource that you need, whether that's counseling and you need somebody to talk to because you've been diagnosed and you just have that pit in your stomach and you don't know where to go or who to talk to. If you need help, just learn this too. If you need help, you've been diagnosed from your primary care doctor, what's next? If you want to be connected to support groups. So you're going to talk to a real person who's there, who's trained, who's ready and willing. And while nobody wants you to be going through this particular battle, they're definitely there to help and be a resource for you. So those are the two most important resources we have.
Cool. Well, we're one of the websites that link back to cancer.org,
Yeah,
so I can vouch for that.
absolutely. We also, so I mentioned we have the Hope Lodge. Those are also resources for people who are currently undergoing treatment. We also have Road to Recovery, which is a really awesome program. So we're trying to reduce the barrier of access to care. And ACS knows that part of the problem of access to care is people just even being able to get a ride to receive the treatment that they need. So they can call a phone number for Road to Recovery, be linked with a driver, and they'll get for free of charge, be like an Uber really, by
Okay.
vetted volunteers who will take them to and from treatment for as long as they need.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a lot of good things you guys are doing.
we're trying. Yeah, for sure. It's remarkable.
Yeah, and we'll do the best we can to help you guys out. Like I said earlier, the American Cancer Society is very dear to us as well. We've all known people that have been hit by cancer in our families, and the people involved in Win Big Charity. So that's one of the big reasons why we wanted to help and work with you guys. And you guys will be there at Soccer Fest, right? So if
Yep,
people
I
want to
will
come
be
up
there
and nice. If people want to come up and talk and ask questions and get resources, then the more people we can get to, the better,
for
right?
sure. Agreed.
Well, thanks a lot again, Rachel, for joining us. Really appreciate your time, and we'll be talking soon for sure.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.